Present.
City Manager Tanya Williams.
Present.
Okay, all members are present and accounted for. So this time we'll call on the city attorney as we move into closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. We have four primary items on your closed session this evening. The first is a conference with your labor negotiator. The second is a conference with regarding anticipated litigation, has mostly to do with workers' comp and industrial debility claims. You have another item of anticipated litigation, existing litigation, the Adam Salvinson versus City of Rialto case. And then finally, you do have one more item of anticipated litigations, a potential contract dispute. That's it.
Okay, good. Is there anyone in the audience that like to question any of the items that are before us that will be on closed session? Seeing that there's no one present, do I hear a motion to close the
So moved.
motion been made by
Second.
Carla Perez, seconded by Edward Montoya. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye, and my echo says aye too.
Hey Barbara, can you get Gabe to fix the mayor's microphone?
No, it's that TV is probably on loud.
Well, whatever he's gotta do to, cause it's only the mayor's,
It was only his. It was only his.
yeah, only his.
Okay.
Scott McAfee of Don's Bikes, and we are rooted in Rialto. The stores opened on April 1st, 1959, so 66 years ago, a long time, which is pretty wild. It was a little hole-in-the-wall store up the street at that point, and my dad pretty much ran it all by himself. And I'd say, you know, as a kid, I grew up in the business, so I would do a lot of the purchasing for him. I'd work on bikes, and I think at that point I got a rough idea of like how to run a small business. 5 days after my 18th birthday, my father passed away. He was actually riding his bicycle home. He had a heart attack and passed away. So I became a small business owner at 18. It was not what I planned on doing for a living. I was actually in college at the time and was getting my degree in psychology. I wanted to be a counselor, ended up getting my master's in counseling. And but we decided to keep the business because it was generating an income, it was getting me through school. So we thought, okay, let's keep this thing. And we ended up moving down here at this current location in the early 80s. We just ran out of room. So we made the big leap and kind of tripled our size. And I remember it was pretty scary at that point, like, wow, are we gonna be able to afford this rent? You know, will the business accommodate that? And sure enough, it did. And we continued to grow. I started hiring people to run the business, to help run it. We did several expansions at this location in Rialto. And then in 2012, we opened up our Redlands store, which is like 3 times the size of this place. And that took off like a rocket from day one. And here we are like 66 years later. It's one of those things, if my dad could see us now, he'd be blown away. Not only as far as the things we do, but just the depth and the difference of products that we offer now. Electric bikes are incredibly popular. We're actually selling electric motorcycles now, something I never thought I would be selling. We sell a lot of high-end carbon bikes that have electronic shifting. My bike has electronic shifting on it. We have entry-level bikes. I mean, if you want something for like 13 grand, we've got those. But if you're wanting more like an inexpensive bike just to commute back and forth to work, we do sell used bikes as well. So it's a variety, and there's a lot of different categories of riders. That's, I think, the thing that keeps me interested and motivated in this business. You just never know who or what you're going to work with next. It's a very, very diverse group of people, but what they all share in common, I think, is a love of cycling. And I see the expression on people's faces when if they've been off a bike for a while, when they come back from a little test ride, they've always got that smile on their face, like, wow, it's like being a kid again. So it's really cool. Our address is 384 South Riverside Avenue in Rialto. We're open from 10 till 6 Monday through Saturday, 11 to 4 on Sundays. Or you can go online to donsbikeshop.com. We do a lot of repair work. This place is crazy. On a weekend, we do a ton of repairs. So we have quite a few mechanics. I have 22 employees total. A lot of them are dedicated mechanics. This is what they do all day long. They fix other people's bikes. And we work on all kinds of bikes, not just the ones we sell, but pretty much bikes from all over the place. The cool thing about this business is it is about health, fitness, psychological health. You know, as I know, just getting a master's in counseling psychology, anything you can do to reduce stress is just a win-win. And so we are tied in with fitness, with health, with recreation, with community, with, you know, giving people groups to ride with. We do events with the city and we partner with them on a lot of different things. We do have the ride out for the teens. Rialto PD gives us an escort for that. We also had some really cool celebrities come out. These are people from the biking world from like the 80s, or kind of the stars, if you will, of the BMX world that came out to be part of our event. So, you know, we kind of been part of this community for a very long time. And, you know, when people have asked, well, why do I like to give back to my community? And it's because my community has given so much to me. And probably one of the favorite things I like about doing this is you get to really know people in this business. Kind of like a barber or a hairstylist where you talk to people and you get to know their stories. I mean, I had an exchange with a gentleman just this morning who shared some sorrow and some loss from a family member who passed away, but those are the kind of relationships we develop with people, and we've done so over literally decades. And it's just kind of cool because most businesses, they don't get to get that personal, I guess, with people, but that's probably my favorite thing, is just all the relationships, the friendships that we have made with all kinds of different people over the years.
Being a prostate cancer survivor can make a man feel all alone in the fight, especially in the Inland Empire. I should know. I am a 6-year prostate cancer survivor. That is why we started the Walnut Tribe Support Group, a nonprofit support group for prostate cancer survivors and their families, where they can get help, support, and information to guide them through it all. Now, in partnership with the Pink Ribbon Place in Riverside and the Greater Faith Bible Church in Rialto, we will have our in-person and Zoom meetings at 2 locations, both beginning at 6 p.m. The Riverside meetings will be held on the first Wednesday of every month, and our Rialto meetings will be held on the 3rd Tuesday of every month. If you have been diagnosed with prostate cancer or know someone who has, feel free to join us in the fight. These meetings will be free and open to the public.
The earthquakes you see in movies are one thing, but real life is a completely different animal. Just because you can't predict an earthquake doesn't mean that you can't prepare for one. In the event of a real earthquake, you should drop, cover, and hold on. Visit ready.gov/earthquake and practice what to do to keep you and your family safe in the event of a real earthquake, and you'll be seen as a hero by your family and your loved ones.
When the earth shakes, the ground moves, and things start to fall, you'll ask yourself, how prepared or unprepared are you? Have you removed
Hola residentes de Rialto, tenemos noticias muy buenas justo a tiempo para la temporada de natación. Clases de natación en la piscina Tom Sawyer están ahora disponibles a un costo reducido gracias a una subvención de la Fundación LA84. A través de nuestro programa de becas acuáticas, la mayor parte del costo está cubierto, por lo que es más fácil de nunca para aprender a nadar. Los aplicantes deben tener entre 5 y 17 años para calificar. Las sesiones duran 2 semanas. Para inscribirse, visite la piscina Tom Sawyer y rellene la aplicación de becas. Pero no esperes, el espacio es limitado y las clases se llenan muy rápido. Consulta las fechas de inscripción para ver cuándo puedes inscribirte en la próxima sesión. La piscina Tom Sawyer ya está extendiendo el horario de las clases de natación, ofreciendo más clases de natación y la celebración de clases de 4 días a la semana, de lunes a jueves. Estamos aquí para ayudarle a chapotear con seguridad.
When the earth shakes, the ground moves, and things start to fall, you'll ask yourself, how prepared or unprepared are you? Have you removed objects from over the bed and over your head? Anchored your possessions securely to the wall. It won't be a pain, and you're not doing it in vain. Are your emergency kits packed? What about your family, your friends? Do they know what to do, how to get in touch, and where to meet? Do you know how to drop, cover, and hold on, covering your head and neck? What if you're outside? Or in a car? After the shaking stops, look around. Figure out what to do. Stay away from damaged areas. Turn on a radio. Reach out for help. And if you're trapped, do not move about. Stay calm. Only shout as a last resort. Once everything and everyone is safe, get prepared. An aftershock could be on its way. So before the earth shakes, the ground moves, and things start to fall, get prepared. Make a plan. Practice what you know, because an earthquake can happen anytime, anywhere. You never know.
Acting successor agency to the Housing Authority will come to order at this time. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll call. Present.
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 Present. Present.
Present.
Okay, all members of the council present. At this time, we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance that we do on a rotating basis. So this time it will be led by myself, Mayor Joe Baca. So if you could put your hands over your heart and begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you could remain standing, what we'll do is the invocation that will be led by Pastor Harry Pratton from the Greater Faith Grace Bible.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, first we're thankful for you for this city council, for the leadership that they provide for the city to make sure that all the residents have a greater quality of life. We pray, God, you give them wisdom and guidance as they navigate through the agenda tonight, making decisions sometimes hard and sometimes difficult. Grant them wisdom, Father, to make those proper decisions at the right time. We thank you, Lord, for those who have been recognized tonight for certain deeds they're doing and accomplished within the city of Rialto. We pray, God, that the city council continue to remain dedicated, devoted to the mission, the vision, and have for this great city of Rialto. And most of all, may they know that they're loved by the city, appreciated and valued. And may this meeting tonight show everybody in the city how much they're loved, valued, and appreciated. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Bratton. At this time, we'll call on the city attorney to report on closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. You had four items on your closed session agenda for this evening. The first was a conference with your labor negotiators. You heard a report and gave direction to your labor negotiators. Second was a conference with legal counsel with regard to one item of pending litigation. That item is described in the agenda. You gave direction to the city attorney's office. There was no other reportable action on that item. The third item was a conference with legal counsel with regard to anticipated litigation with regard to the items listed in number 3. You gave direction with regard to each one of those items. No other reportable action on that item. And then finally, you had a conference with legal counsel with one item of additional anticipated litigation. It's described in the agenda. Gave direction to the city attorney's office. And that was the only remaining item, and no other reportable action. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, then, we have presentations and proclamations. But before I call on the first individual, I'd just like to mention that the Hispanic Coalition of Small Business had an award ceremony, and 2 of our residents from the city of Rialto were recognized at the event, and that was Ana Gonzalez for community involvement, and then it happened to be that my daughter, Natalie Baca, was also recognized for her involvement in education. So on behalf of the City Council, we'd like to congratulate all of them, and an award was presented by all of us to them as well. With that, then, we'll move on to the first one. I'd like to call on Willie Mae Hendry. We have a certificate we'd like to present. We'll go right up front here. And, you know, let's first give her a hand because she is 100 years of age. I was going to say, Willie Mae, you look pretty good. But, okay. Here's a photo of Willie Mae. If the camera can shine in on it, you'll see a picture of her. She turns 100 years of age, and that's great for a resident citizen of the city of Rialto. And the county supervisor, 5th District, Joe Baca Jr., also has a certificate that we'd like to give. But in behalf of the city of Rialto, we'd like to present the certificate. Since October 20th, 1925, you have enriched the lives of family, friends, neighbors, and accumulated a wealth of knowledge, experience, and wisdom. I put that one in there, in which to pass on to future generations. It is with great honor that the city of Rialto congratulate you on your 100th birthday. And it's really quite an honor for anyone to achieve that. I think all of us want to achieve to be 100 and be healthy. And if the Lord blesses us, we can, because I know this woman probably was very faithful, very religious, and with God's help and guidance, we can achieve whatever we want, and who knows how long we'll all live. So on behalf of the city, we'd like to present the certificate to you and have you say a few words, and then of course I'll have someone else take the council member's certificate as well.
Okay, thank you.
And state your name.
My name is Penny Johnson. This is my sister Regina Gathright and my son Carlos Rachel. And on behalf of my mother, we would like to thank you for this recognition. And we appreciate your time and effort. Thank you. God bless.
God bless you. Congratulations. Whatever comes into your heart.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Regina Gathright. She said, I'm the youngest of all the siblings. We're happy to be here to represent my mom. Fortunately, she's not where she's able to come out, so we wanted to come and represent her and just say thank you for recognizing her for this honor. And we appreciate you, and thank you very much.
Good evening. I'd just like to say 100 years is amazing for anyone. It's an outstanding achievement, and without love and support from family, you know, it's not possible. And with all of us, we made it happen, and she's gonna keep on doing what she does. She's a great woman. She's taught us a lot and shared a lot. So hopefully other folks will be able to experience this, you know, great achievement as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next certificate that we have is an individual that comes from Never Stop Grinding. It's a boxer. And we also have a certificate from San Bernardino County Supervisor Joe Baca Jr., who couldn't make it here today. We'll present that as well. But in behalf of the city of Rialto, we'd like to present this to Romo Baca, no, kidding, Walker, in recognition of your outstanding achievement in winning the international championship. The only reason I mentioned my name because I wanted to be the champion, you know. Your dedication, discipline, and excellence in the sport of boxing has earned you this prestigious recognition. We commend your hard work, your courage, your dedication, and your fighting spirit. You have truly set an example for many other youth that hopefully will follow in the same steps. And in behalf of the city of Rialto, we'd like to congratulate you and present you with this certificate. O'Neal. Hey, big man, give me five.
Yeah, I thank everybody for coming out today. I want to thank my mom, my uncle, my coach,
Who's your
my
coach?
coaches, Coach Conley right there, my uncle. I want to thank everybody that came out today to support me. Thank you for my supporters.
That sounds like a future politician.
doing that one?
Next, we have a presentation of free compost and program.
Mayor, I just wanted to share some comments.
Sure.
Thank you. I just want to thank the NSG team and the coaches, Mr. Darius, and the entire team that's here tonight, and to let you guys know that the city has always supported all your events, and that keep doing a good job out there, and help us keep kids off our streets and out into something that's productive as much as this sport and all the other activities that you guys do over at NSG. So congratulations and thank you.
Yes, Darius, thank you very much for even opening up, Never Stop Grinding in the city of Rialto, and hopefully that a lot of youth life will also be turned around, not only in learning boxing, but at the same time learning about life, learning about dedication, learning about respect, and never losing faith too as well in our Lord. With that.
It's kind of hard to follow, Mayor. Good job. So good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of council. Tonight I'll be doing a brief presentation on the City of Rialto's free compost and mulch program. There we go. So the City of Rialto, in partnership with Burtech Waste Industries, is proud to offer free compost and mulch made locally from Rialto's green waste and food scraps to Rialto residents and businesses. This program is designed to reduce the amount of green waste sent to landfills by collecting food scraps and green waste placed in your green barrels at home or work. We transform these materials into a high-quality compost product. The process from waste to resource is a 5-step program. Every time you put fruit, vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, eggshells, lawn clippings, leaves, and branches into your green waste barrel, you're helping build a greener community. These materials are collected by Protect Waste and transformed into high-quality compost and mulch using a safe 5-step natural process. First is the collections, then comes the grinding, composting, the screening, curing, and testing. And they make sure that it's safe and quality that would be available for local use. The benefits, there are 3 main benefits achieved through this program. The first benefit is by separating your food and yard waste at home, you actively contribute to decreasing landfill usage, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and restoring essential nutrients to the soil. The second is the transformed compost enriches your soil, retains moisture, and helps suppress weeds, making it an excellent choice for home gardens, landscaping projects, and water conservation efforts. And the third is by participating in this initiative, you play a crucial role in closing the loop on organic waste recycling, contributing to a healthier environment and sustainable practices. Information about the free compost and mulch program is available on the city's website, shared through the city's social media pages, and included in the Rialto Progress magazine. Additionally, notifications have been sent to the users via the My Rialto app. As a result of these efforts, since 2025, we have distributed over 164 tons of compost and mulch to residents and business owners in Rialto. There is one pickup location designated at the Rialto City Yard at 246 South Willow Avenue. It's the south parking lot entrance. There's new signage, barricades, signage posted at the actual sites. Compost is available 7 days a week during daylight hours from 6 o'clock and is supplied daily or as needed. To help close the loop and support the sustainable Rialto, free food waste collection pails are available for pickup at Public Works office. So far, 483 pails have been provided since 2024 to residents. That concludes this brief summary. I'm available for any questions, as well as Burtech.
Are there any questions or comments from any member of the council? Edward Montoya, Councilmember Edward Montoya.
Yeah, so I just have a quick comment. The food waste collection pails. I just wanted to give some information to everybody out there. I did a trial by error on buying some bags, and I bought the 1 gallon, does not work. I bought the 1.5 gallon, that did not work. So I ultimately went with the 2.3 gallon bag that you could buy on Amazon, and they fit perfectly in that waste container. It helps keep it from smelling, keep it from getting with the sopping juices of the vegetables. So just so everybody's aware, 2.3 gallon.
We'll make a note to add that when we hand them out.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Public Works for making this presentation. I just ran into someone this weekend that needed some compost, and they didn't know that we were giving it out free. So I think, letting the public know that this is available along with the mulch program that we have is very important. So it's creating that kind of awareness of the services that the city of Rialto can provide for our residents. So thank you very much for the presentation and letting our public know. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is oral communications. Is there any oral communication?
Yes, we have Todd to speak from Southern California AQMD.
Good morning, Mayor, Council, or good evening, Mayor, Council. Good evening, Mayor, Council, and Rialto residents. My name is Todd Warden. I'm your general field rep for the South Coast AQMD. I'm actually here tonight on a spot of funds that the Air District has called Invest Clean. We'd like to see some of the funds go to the Inland Empire particularly, and Rialto as well. We have spots of funds for electric charging infrastructure for heavy duty and goods movement. We have truck replacements, so you can go down to the Peterbilt on a stick at Cherry and Slover, or TEC on Valley Boulevard, and help flip out those diesel trucks to electric. We also have a spot of funds for electric charging equipment for the warehouses, picking up and moving those containers around without emissions. And then we also have a spot for electric locomotives, switcher locomotives that I think would be a great fit in the rail yards adjacent to Rialto. That said, we want those funds to come to the territory, help clean up the air and the warehouses in the area. But I also want to thank Rialto for many years of partnering with the Air District. First, I also want to remind you to go see Watt EV at Orange Show and E Street. There's an electric truck stop there. Colton just put one in and had a ribbon cutting a few months ago at Green Lane on the south side of the San Bernardino Auto Mall on the Colton side of Fairway Drive. And then a new one is coming in right now on the south side of San Bernardino 66er Stadium called EV Realty, and I'd like to see those come to this territory as well. That said, thank you to Rialto for always including me in healthy Rialto events. Partnership with Energia down on the south side of town with the biogas plant. Rialto USD did a great CNG school bus project with the Air District and with the city's help. You can drive your CNG semi-truck into those school bus filling bays and charge a heavy-duty CNG semi-truck on Rialto USD gas over on Lilac. FedEx on the south side of town is running electric trucks. Could not do that without the help of the city. And we also have years of invites to the stellar Pollution Prevention Fair and community event with Petapalooza, which was just a few weeks ago. And I always thank Barbara McGee for helping put that on and working so hard for the folks in Rialto. I also want to thank the city of Rialto. We received a letter at the Air District in opposition to our Rule 1111 and 1121, which was to be a rule to push water heaters and HVAC systems to go all electric. The Air District did back off of that, and then I would like to announce with that, AQMD now has a Go Zero program for those water heaters and those HVAC systems to go electric. You don't have to do it, but we're going to help you do it, and there's some incentive funds to do that. And I want to thank you for having me here tonight and allowing me to speak. I look forward to working with the city. I'll send these flyers to the clerk, the council, and also your chamber a few doors over. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Todd, for making us aware. We really appreciate that, and hopefully we can look at applying for some of these grants that would be available to the city of Rialto. Thank you. Next, is there anyone else on oral communications?
No.
Seeing that there's no one else, we'll move into the consent item. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There is no separate discussion unless that item is pulled. So at this time, do I hear anyone that would like to pull any item from the consent item? If not, then do I hear a motion to accept the consent calendar?
So moved.
Motion's been made by Councilwoman Carla Perez, seconded by Councilmember Edward Montoya. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none, motion carries. We'll move on to the items for discussion. We'll move on to tab 1, will be the first item of discussion.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Tab 1 this evening will be introduced by Paul Guerrero, our Economic Development Manager.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Baca, Mayor Pro Tem Scott, and City Council members. The item before you this evening is for City Council to 1, receive presentations and select a food vendor for the cafe space at the John Longville train station. 2, authorize the city manager or designee to negotiate a lease agreement with the vendor. And 3, direct staff to return to City Council for approval of a lease agreement. The station is located at 262 South Palm Avenue. Within the overall 1,800 square foot interior space, approximately 850 square feet is designated as cafe for a food community amenity. Tonight, as directed by the Economic Development Committee on September 18th, 2025, the 2 finalists and their representatives who participated in the city's request for proposal are here to present their cafe concepts to council. Following their presentation, they will be available to respond to any questions that council may have. The finalists, in the order of presentation, are Every Table, followed by 985 Coffee. Following the presentation, staff recommends that City Council 1, select a vendor to operate the cafe at the train station. 2, authorize the city manager or designee to negotiate a lease agreement with the selected vendor. And 3, direct staff to return to council for lease agreement approval. That concludes staff's report. With your permission, I will invite Every Table
If you
to
can,
begin their presentation.
Excuse me, before you do, I'd like to make a comment.
Yes, please.
I'm really disappointed in the transparency that went on and what was submitted to the city council for review of the two of those that were recommended. When the city council met, economic development met, and we reviewed different kind of proposals, somewhat not entirely complete. The proposals that were submitted on that date are in here. This is, I would say, Exhibit A on September the 25th that outlines what Every Table would do, and then it outlines what 985 Coffee would do that had an extension of additional things that they would be able to provide to the city that was not included in our package that should have been included. And to me, that's very deceitful when we get that kind of information and we go in front of a committee that Ed Scott and I were members of that committee, and we did not receive that. So I'm disappointed with that, but we'll proceed with what's going on right now, and hopefully we can be objective in selecting a vendor that would come in, or should I say business that would come in, that is in the best interest of the city of Rialto. With that, we'll begin the process.
Great, thank you, Mayor.
Do I need to get this up here or the? Oh, there we go. Never mind. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Temp, and City Council. My name is Bob Dooley. I work with Every Table. I serve as one of the registered dietitians for our company, as well as support the business development and contract team. So it's an honor to be here tonight and to be one of the finalists for this great opportunity to work both with your team, the city, the community, and the depot in Rialto. So I don't want to spend too much time, but especially with only 5 minutes, but a little bit about who Every Table is, what we are, where we're coming from, and where we're going. Every Table is a small company based in Southern California with a mission to transform the food system and make fresh, nutritious, and delicious food accessible to everyone, everywhere, hence Every Table. Our founder, Sam Polk, in the top right, who was supposed to be here today, but unfortunately he suffered a minor injury over the weekend while working out, so he can't walk this week. So best wishes to him. He was originally a Wall Street trader, a very successful distressed trader, and did not like it. He kind of felt like that lifestyle was not of benefit to the world, to the community, or to anyone. He left Wall Street mid-year and decided that it was no longer that for him. And he moved back to California, started a nonprofit working with bringing food into food deserts. Before that was really even a popular term. He then came up with the idea of Every Table, which I'll explain in a moment, and even pitched it on Shark Tank and was able to receive a deal through them. How Every Table's business model works is that we have a central kitchen in Southern California. We have just moved to a large commercial kitchen in the City of Industry, which is not too far from here, where every meal is crafted, tested, and then developed and then assembled in that kitchen and shipped out to our at least 40 locations throughout Southern California, most of which are open in a traditional strip mall, things like that, or places similar to the depot. And what that does is it enables us to produce healthy, scratch-made, really delicious food at a very low price. And these are just a few samples us compared to local or similar type fast food stores. Not that I like to consider us fast food, but even compared to like a Subway footlong, our price is better and competitive. But one thing I want to caution is it's not just fast food. We are healthy foods. So we have 50 plus dishes that are available at all of our stores. Our closest store is in Riverside, which hopefully some people have had a chance to visit or are familiar with. So we have salmon dishes, pork, we have tacos, basically anything. We are not one simple concept, one static concept. We release new menu items on every month, sometimes more. In fact, we just released one last week. And I do have some promotionals to share if requested at the end. But even with these high quality meals, it's not just it's a full meal. So the one on the table is our homegirl salmon, one of my personal favorites. It is a filet, vegetable, and a grain. And the price is under $10. So why Every Table, and specifically why in Rialto and at the depot? One of the things is I feel like this is the ideal fit for a commuter station. One, it's easy grab and go that you could have heated there and enjoy before you get on your train or wherever it is that you're going, or you can bring it with you to go to lunch. When on your way home, grab meals to bring home for your family if you don't have time to cook. So both those things are great, and I felt like that was a really kind of an underserved market, and I felt that would be really good for us. Why I think it'll be successful here is we require minimal staffing because we produce everything, at least the main steps, it's done ahead of time, so we only need maybe one staff at low times. So we can have extended hours or split shifts. So I think we'll be able to serve more time. So, ideally it would be the morning rush and the evening rush when they're coming back from work or the city. And as I mentioned, we have a large menu that's open every single day. So even if this store is smaller in footprint than a traditional store, every single item will be available. We developed our own algorithm that'll kind of help it restock. It doesn't require any heavy level of management. So again, it keeps the price down, and I think it'll make us successful where others might not be able to be successful and then have to close down in a year, which is what I would want to avoid. In addition, and I'll explain it in a little minute, but we also do a gourmet coffee program. So we offer espresso, cappuccino, things like that. And then finally, we are really a community-driven program. So not only do you have just food and coffee, we really work on kind of what I would say behind the scenes is we do meals in the community. So for example, one of my favorite stories or cases is Compton. So in Compton, we have 3 stores. But outside of the stores, we also now are the sole provider for the Compton School District, so they get the same scratch-made meals at the school district. We do the community college. We are the sole provider at the community college, and also service numerous homeless shelters and things like that. And again, we're providing the citizens healthy food at a low price. With that, we also have subscriptions. So Factor, Cook Unity, that is also something. So we can set it up so it can be delivered through a third party, or they would come and pick up at the train station as well. And everything that we do in this city and in this region would go through the store. So all those sales are actually funneled through that store, even if it's just a subscription pickup. Some special services is there's no major construction, because we do not need grease traps, we do not need hood vents or anything like that, despite having all these meals. Flexible staffing, growing with the community, as I mentioned. We do catering, significant catering, as well as we can produce emergency meals and mass production meals with only 2 days notice. We could produce up to 1,000 meals if needed for the community, for disaster relief, random caterings that you might have, or events like tonight. Quickly, again, this is just one of our stores. Again, you can see small footprint, but yet maximum options. Here are just some renderings that kind of could maybe fit in the space. Obviously, it's a unique space. We want to keep any sort of construction to a minimum or none, so we would adapt to what we have. Again, these are just some pictures of the menus. It is on our website. I do have some menus here if you'd like to look them over. We also now have bakery items. We're bringing out soups, and we also have a pretty good breakfast as well, which our breakfast sandwich is one of my absolute favorites. Again, I mentioned coffee. We partner with Gavina, who is a Southern California roaster, who does our coffee as well. So they provide training, the equipment, to provide the same as a normal gourmet coffee shop. Again, I'm running out of time, so we do offer catering, as well as into what we call Every Table at Work, where we sign up local businesses and they can order by 9 a.m. and have their food delivered by noon. And that's every day, Monday through Friday. And I know I'm running low, so I wanted to stop there and open for questions.
I don't know what process we have not discussed the process that we were going to do, whether we do the questionings right now or do the questionings after both of them. What is the desire of the council to do the questionings now or hear both of them and then bring each one of them back up and ask questions?
I think we can ask them as they're up there. I think we can ask them as they're up there.
Okay, then we'll do is ask questions right now. Okay, any member of the council would like to ask a question? Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott.
I just have a couple of questions. One would be, you said that you would be open morning and evening.
Yes.
Do you object to having terms in your lease that require certain specific hours?
No, as long as if we notice that it was dead in the evening or something, that we would have the chance to renegotiate. But we would be upfront and be like, hey, we're seeing 0 sales after 2 p.m. Now, again, I don't see that being the case. I see heavy in the morning, people showing up, bringing their meals to work, and heavy coming home, people going after work, and they choose not to cook. So I assume that you're actually going to have your best hours during those times. And usually what we do during the day is that single staff member works on the subscriptions, getting those ready to go out the door. So, yep, we are okay with that. Again, we just ask if there are no sales at a certain time that we could adjust.
Okay, and your terms for your lease were a little confusing to me, so I just want to make sure that you're open to negotiating a lease with staff.
Yes, absolutely. And part of it is because it is an RFP and we're trying to put it down on paper the best we can without actually having a conversation. But yeah, we are absolutely open to that.
Okay, and my final question is, do you currently have any operation that's near one of the train stations?
The closest one we have is in Riverside, which is about 25 minutes, give or take. So that's the closest we have to this station. Or you mean a train station in general?
In general.
Not this close, which again is partially why we were so attracted to this deal. Is it's not a captured audience, but it's a encouraged audience that are going to be there anyway. So the foot traffic would be good for our product. But no, we don't have one on the station.
How do you see your concept working with commuters that would be getting on and off the train, both going towards the LA area and of course coming home in the evening?
Yeah, and not to repeat myself, but I think that's actually what probably makes us one of the better options is our meals could be just grab and go and you heat them at work. They are designed to be heated in a microwave and they are tested with food scientists over and over again to get it exactly right. So I think that the idea is this is a ultra quick option. So you can grab your salmon dish, bring it to you for lunch, or when you off your after work, bring it home and even bring home a meal for the family. We also have kids meals that since we started working in K-12 as well. So I do think that it's a perfect fit for that model. And again, our wait times are super low because you don't have to sit there and order an omelet and have them cook it for you. You could just reheat it quickly, or again, bring it to work or bring it home.
Okay, thank you.
The first slide I saw with Councilmember Edwin Montoya.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. First question is, you say that you've worked with dietitians and
I am one, yeah.
Excuse me?
I am one, yes.
Okay, and you claim that they're healthy meals, however, they're prepackaged and you put them in the microwave. That doesn't sound healthy to me.
It is, so I mean, yes, you do have to use the microwave, but they're not prepackaged, they are made from like scratch ingredients. So literally like even our sauces, we make our sauces in-house. So it's not like these giant mass production, long shelf life. That is one disadvantage is our shelf life is not overly long. It only lasts 4 or 5 days. So it's like if you were going to buy a salad, right, at a store, that's still fresh and scratch made or healthy, and it just doesn't have the longest shelf life. So none of our stuff is like ultra processed that's gonna last forever. Even our things that are pre-made that are just reheated will not last more than a couple days. We are working on special packaging that will increase that, but that's through modified atmosphere, so not even preservatives. We do not use preservatives as well. Does that make sense? And I do, again, I have menus.
It does, and that was kind of leading into my next one as far as the preservatives, but yeah, thank you for that. The next thing is more of a comment, and you could respond if you'd like, but one thing that worried me was on the last page of your proposal, you said, we propose to fund this investment through a rent offset, applying rent payments towards our equipment, construction, and other approved opening costs until the full amount is recouped. In other words, the people of the city are paying for your equipment, construction, and opening costs.
Yes, or offsetting any investment. Again, what we put in there is the absolute maximum. I don't think it would be very much because again, we don't require actual physical construction. Again, no hood vents, no things like that. It's really coolers, microwaves, and just to improve the aesthetics to make it inviting and encourage sales. And yes, and I understand, and that is a challenge. But it was important to me to make sure that if we were awarded it, that we don't close down in a year because we're not successful. I know that's a big issue because then you have to go through the RP process again, which costs money. It's
right,
and you guys it's a service. I know, and I get that. So that was my ultimate goal. Was like, how do I make this work? And I understand there's negotiations afterwards, but what did I feel would be the best opportunity, both for us and the city to both be successful?
Okay,
so, good question. Yeah.
Thank you.
Next, Councilmember Carla Perez, and then we'll call in Andy.
Thank you, Mayor. So because it is grab and go, and let's say, a random day, you just have an influx in sales, a lot of traffic comes through. would you have to close early on a day like that where you weren't prepared for it? Or do you have the capability of having additional meals available for the remainder of the business hours?
So we have an algorithm that can help us predict, but if we also will keep backups in a refrigerator that you wouldn't see in back of the house. So yeah, we'll have backups. And if it was an emergency, like say if something does happen, or if for some reason city council has a catering that we weren't expecting, a really large one, 60 people, 100 people, we would then just bring it over from Riverside, the backups. That does happen here and there, but it's pretty rare because we kind of have an idea of when any of these things are coming, and we watch the traffic patterns. Because again, our goal is absolutely zero waste. If we do have waste, not waste, but if we have something that's coming up to the day of expiration, which again is about every 4 or 5 days, we do donate that then to the local shelter, and we would work with you guys on which one we would donate to. So again, we don't try to overdo that too much because again, the idea is precision, but we do occasionally have some that don't sell, and we do then donate those.
Thank you.
Councilmember Andy Caraceres.
Thank you, Mayor. So some of the issues that have come up with previous tenants there are the shared space. So you have commuters that are maybe come with their coffee already or their food, and they use the tables there, and they leave their trash there, and they just get on the train. And how you plan on? Are you aware of this?
I mean, I'm not aware of exactly how much trash it would be or the specific.
No, the fact that it will be a common area.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. So even so we serve a couple universities and colleges as well in Southern California. Same thing. So like they may order a meal there, but that you don't have to. It's not an exclusive space. We're actually opening up in the courthouse, the Supreme Courthouse in San Francisco. Same situation. Like we're the food provider, but we can't force you to eat our food. Like you can bring in outside food. So that's common.
So how do you divvy up what part of the common area is cleaned up by your staff and what areas are cleaned off by the city staff because it's a common use area?
That would probably be something we would talk about in negotiations because I don't know what services you guys have yet, and that wasn't a part of the RFP of, hey, we have X many people to clean or do this or bathrooms or anything. That wasn't a part of it, but that's something we'll definitely negotiate and learn about what you guys have available, what you would need help with, and things like that.
Because the restrooms are public restrooms, so anybody could come through, and I mean, anywhere you go, most restrooms are used by people that are not patrons of the business, but it's really specific there because that's some of the problems that the last tenant had, and those were some of the challenges that we kind of had to draft up after the fact and figure out how we are fair to the tenant and also not put all the burden on our city employees to be going over there picking up and cleaning and doing all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So you're okay with having some kind of literature in that contract that states that this is what your staff will be required to do, and this is what the city staff will be required to do.
Yeah, that's very common in what I would call a food service agreement. Like that's pretty much typical.
Perfect. And now you mentioned that the point of sale is going to be there. So let's just say you get a big contract with the Rialto School District,
okay,
and you're serving hundreds of thousands of meals per day or per week or whatever. Is that point of sale still going to come through Rialto?
It would be a part of Rialto. I don't know if it would go through that far if it was that massive. If it was that big, we'd probably have to go direct from the commissary. If that were to happen, to be honest, I'm not even sure if the Rialto School District is a third party. They may be in-house. I'm not the K-12 person. But it would be something we'd be willing to talk about because maybe this would be our staging place, and it would depend. Do they need it to be delivered hot? Do they need to do it cold? And they reheat it there. So there's a lot involved in K-12 meals that is hard to say. But if it was one of your small charter schools, that's only 20 meals. That's 5 miles. Yes, then that comes out of that store.
Okay. So I'd like to make sure that when we draft this up, that we allocate something on there that states if you are providing to, whether it's our senior center or anywhere else, that we come up with a number that's comfortable with your organization and is comfortable with the city to make sure that everyone's making money on all ends.
Yes, and if it's like a small senior center, yes, those absolutely do come through there. Logistically, they have to for us. Like we will have to turn down business if they say it cannot go through that place, because it just doesn't make sense for us to like be doing too many shipments. So that is a thing we see frequently here and there. But yes, that is 100%. And again, that's what, for me personally, that's what we want to see, is as much going through that store as possible.
Yeah. And just lastly, I just want to make a comment. One of the things that I'm most passionate about in since this last election, and it's one of my priorities, is to bring healthy foods to Rialto, to have an active mobile community that has, I feel like you were grabbing the words out of my speech, because I want grab and go stuff. I want things that are not just easy to pick up, but are also healthy, to make sure that we're providing some kind of a alternative to the fast food restaurants that are out there. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you very much. So I have a series of quite a few questions, and I'm going to start with the very first question. Every table applied for a position and got a license to do business in the city of Rialto. Why is it that it pulled out?
I do not know. I actually just heard about this recently.
So
I believe
that makes very much concern with the kind of business that we would have, whether you would do the same thing if, in fact, under one of the comments that I'm going to make later on, that you would end up moving out, since you've already established a record of applying here, getting a license, and then not having your business in the area, in the city of Rialto.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm not overly familiar with what happened. I heard that it might have been something with utilities, but I do not know. So I'm sorry, I cannot answer that. But if you want it, I know you probably might make a decision tonight. But if not, I can get it.
Well, it's a decision that we're making, and I think it's a very important decision for members of this council to assess and evaluate someone that we want to come into the area that has done business, want to do business in the area, and is a small business. Your corporate business, and it's not really a small business, and I think we have a responsibility to attract small businesses, because small businesses is what makes our country go as well. But that's just my opinion. I have another question. I have several other questions I'd like to ask. One of the other areas that you mentioned, and I'm going by the comparison, vendors comparison table that was presented to us, it has fresh grab and go. And one of the questions that was asked, how can it be fresh if it's pre-packed?
So similar as I mentioned before, is yes, it is pre-packaged, but again, it's not like this overly pasteurized, or I mean, it is cooked to a safe temperature, but it's not in a package that's going to have this.
Where is it cooked?
In City of Industry, and then it'll
so it's not cooked here, so it's not fresh and it's not new. It's already pre-packed.
Yes, it is, and that is.
And so the customer is not really getting a fresh one. They're getting one that's already been pre-packed. Is that correct?
Yes. So it's if you were to go to at an airport and you go to like one of the salad bars.
Well, we're not going to an airport. We're going to right here.
Yeah.
And we got to talk about someone that's going to be in the area. So what if our police department, our fire department, or members from the city would like to go and buy something that's fresh or healthy? You know, they would be getting a prepackaged item, and it wouldn't be fresh. And then my next question, how, you know, you talk about a burrito. How is that burrito going to be done? Is that burrito, you know, pre-packed?
Yes, it is. Yes.
So it isn't fresh. It's not new. It's something like, you know, I love having a burrito that's just made right there, and I know what I'm getting. Mm-hmm. But I don't know what I'm getting from every table. Mm-hmm. And that, you know, and I know the citizens that are watching this are very much concerned the kind of decisions that we're going to make that are going to impact the city. And the next question I have, when you have, you know, Garment coffee, press juice, and other health drinks, how is this coffee made? Is it fresh?
So yeah, it'll be made to order. Like we have, like just.
Is it made here, or is it pre-made, or is it?
No, so there'll be an espresso machine and a coffee brewer. So
and then is it put in? If it's cold, is it put in the microwave to heat it up, or?
No, it's got a. We have an espresso machine, so it'll come like the espresso comes out hot, just like you would see at any sort of coffee shop.
And what about juice or teas or lemonade? Are they being hand squeezed, or are they mixed from prepackaged bottles?
It'll be, so we use pressed juices. That's a brand in, I believe,
So it comes from another bottle. It comes from somewhere else,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
So it's not fresh, right?
I mean, yeah, it's not made right to order, but it is the brand pressed juices. If I'm not sure if you're familiar, but yeah, it is a common, popular brand.
And then the other question that I have is online platform, digital radio, and billboards. Why are the online platforms so important in reaching the customers?
It's just usually I'm not a marketing expert, but more for subscription models, and it's just easier to get the word out. Again, I'm not by any means a person who understands a lot of marketing, but digital just is a way to promote subscriptions. I mean, it's similar
It's
to
also to interview and to assess and evaluate the products that you guys are doing, whether the customers like it or not, right?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
It's also a way to assess and evaluate by going online what you guys are providing, whether the customers like what you're providing or selling to them by marketing and going online, right?
Yes, it's a way to market to them.
Okay. The next question that I have, you indicated under a capital investment, which is very much concerned, and it seems like the city of Rialto would really look at this, because it's just basically saying that you would amortize, which means amortize in the definition in the dictionary says you'll pay if you can, and if you make a profit, you'll pay, and if not, it'll be deferred until X amount of dollars are made. Is that correct?
I guess maybe not as well versed in that language, but we would be.
You put that in your proposal. It's in here.
Yeah,
And it seems like it would be a terrible decision for us to sign a contract with someone that we don't even know what kind of revenue we're going to get.
Yeah. So
I hope you guys listen to that.
So that is something we would be willing to discuss in negotiations if my language is off when I wrote that.
And then, you indicated earlier that you would only have one staffer. Is that correct?
We could go as low as that. If required at slow times, but like at Compton College, we sometimes have 3 at one time.
Yeah, which would make it very difficult with the question that Mr. Caldeseras asked about the cleanup of the area. How can you have one staffer being out there trying to sell a product and not cleaning up the area? I mean, that's, whether it's done after hours or during the hours, because, we want to make sure that our city is beautified and clean. So it makes it very difficult when you only have one staffer. And then we'll hear from the other individual how many staff they're going to have. So that makes a difference in terms of that person. Will that person be a local person? Will it be from this area? Or will that person be from the city of Industry or Vermont or wherever it's Vernon?
They would be local. I mean, it's just like a typical application. So, I mean, anybody could apply. And actually, people in Riverside live in Rialto. The lady I met tonight who I bought dinner from, she lives in this city. So as I was saying, the point is that we could do lower, and that doesn't mean we will. Actually, very few that we do have one at it, only. But it's for those really slow times. Like if there is a big gap in time where there's just are no customers because there's no trains, we could do that to make sure that it's still successful. Because again, high labor could make it so that the program won't work, and that's what I want to avoid.
And I have, in terms of the proposed lease agreement, there again, amortizing and saying, there's a difference between, I looked at the proposal in comparison. One is that maybe you'll pay, maybe you won't pay. Well, the other individual that we're going to be looking at is willing to make a payment monthly, so we know what we're going to get there. We don't know what we're going to get from you, and it only depends on the revenue that you make. Mm-hmm. So we're just like a hit and miss. Like, man, is that the best way to serve the city, not knowing what sales tax? And then the question that Council Member Andy said is, will that sales tax that you make, whether you sign a contract with the school district or anybody else, will that stay here locally or will it go to the headquarters? I'm used to familiar with that kind of a concept because we had jet fuel at one point that was going to the headquarters, and now it's going locally to where they actually put it, because I carried the legislation to make sure that happened. Probably should do the same thing here. The next question I have too as well is the seating, you'll have very few tables and very few investment even in improving the facility out there. Is that correct?
Say it again, sorry.
In terms of the seating arrangements out there, how much are you going to invest to improve that area to allow, if we have people that are from the city going there, or have people that are going from the fire department or the police department, is there going to be enough seating and umbrellas that'll be there available for them? Because you're not willing to invest according to the proposal, and it's only based on revenue.
So the idea is that we would invest, and our predictions would be less than 200,000 to do a full thing. So that includes furniture, fixtures, and any sort of minor adjustments we need to the space. And again, I think that would be at the high end with the current space, and ideally it would be less. But yeah, we would definitely provide tables, chairs. I'm not sure if there was some already in the space that are still there, or if the city owned them, or from the previous vendor. That's just stuff that wasn't in the RFP, so I wasn't sure on the answer to that.
Yeah, and we really didn't get a financial analysis to find out exactly what you would actually be able to do, because it says amortized, which means, hey, maybe we can, maybe we can't. And one of the other questions that I asked that is very important, I asked about the rating system and people that review it. Well, I happen to, to Google every table, and I'd like to read what's on here, and I'd like to pass this out to, if I can, to the council members as well, so they can have it and look at. And this is what others have said about every table. It says inconsistent taste. Some customers praise every table food as fresh and delicious, particularly for a ready-to-heat product. Others review, however, describe the food as hit or miss, with some meals lacking flavor. Then we talked about healthy food. It says high sodium content. One Reddit user noted that while meals seem healthy, closer inspections of the nutrition information revealed a high sodium count exceeding the 60% of daily value. Serious food poisoning allocations. At least one YEP review described the severe food poisoning incident from every table meal that resulted in hospital visit. Subpar ingredients. Some complained and mentioned excessive fat on chickens in certain dishes, or lack of freshness in some pre-packaged food, and that's the questions that we've been asking. And unappetizing appearance. One customer felt catfished by the difference between the picture of a meal online and the sloppy, unappetizing food they received. And this, and then it's, of course, customer service and delivery, poor communications. And this comes from online and on Google, and anybody can get this. So, we needed to do our research on your firm, not, because we want to make sure that whatever we do is in the best interest of the city of Rialto, and it's good for our citizens. So, thank you very much.
Good, all done?
Yep, done.
Thank you.
Next.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Temp, and council members. My name is Abraham Morales, and I am from 95 Coffee. We are a local-owned and community-rooted cafe built in San Bernardino, and what began as a coffee shop has grown into a cultural hub, a place where people gather, connect, and feel a part of something bigger. So, who is 985? 985 is a business that is community-driven, community-ran. Our menu is built around specialty-based coffees that are organic, freshly roasted, and locally sourced, offering our guests a truly elevated coffee experience. Alongside our drinks, we serve a thoughtfully curated food program featuring breakfast sandwiches, breakfast burritos, breakfast bagels, fresh pastries, and they're all made in a healthier way with high quality ingredients as a better alternative to highly processed foods. Today, our San Bernardino Cafe is powered by a dedicated team of 12 employees, each playing a role in creating the warm, inclusive atmosphere that defines our brand. Our vision is to bring that same energy and belonging to the Rialto John Longville Depot, transforming it into a vibrant destination that celebrates culture, community, and hospitality. So why Rialto? Rialto is not just another location for us, it's actually home. My family and I grew up here in Rialto. We lived here. My sister Laura went to Rialto High School and graduated from here. And we built many other values that shaped who we are today. That's what Rialto built for us. Over the years, we've watched Rialto grow, transform, and what stands out the most is the resilience of its residents, its leadership, and its council members. 985 Coffee was built on the values of connection, hospitality, and local pride. Values that perfectly align with Rialto's vision. This isn't just an expansion for us, it's coming back to our roots and building something meaningful with the community that we deeply love and respect. So at 985, we have a bunch of good options for anybody who's who's going on the train, anybody that's on lunch, anybody that's in a rush to get to work, right before work, or anything. We have something for you. Some of our most popular items are like our banana matcha, our sand banana, our cinnamon honey cold brew, our Spanish latte, mango kiss peach tea. These are just some of the few items that we serve here, that we grind our own beans, we pull our own shots of espresso, and you enjoy a cup of fresh coffee. At 985, freshness is in the heart of everything that we do. We partner with local small batch roasters who roast the coffee in order to ensure every cup we serve is made with beans at their peak flavor and quality. Our coffee is organic, ethically sourced from ethical farms, and never prepackaged or processed or sitting in bags like mass-produced alternatives. Same thing with our food program. The John Longville Depot has a full kitchen that we will utilize. The real kitchen will be activated when 985 will join the depot. We have fresh baked croissants, breakfast bagels, burritos, lunch sandwiches, and salads. And the awesome thing is that we'd be opening within 2 to 3 months with our lean systems and the equipment that we would provide to the depot and to the city of Rialto. Local jobs and increased foot traffic would instantly begin as soon as we open. In San Bernardino alone, we employ 12 people over 2 shifts. Rialto, we'd open earlier, close later, which will open up a 3rd shift. We can expand that number way beyond 12. Also, we do work with delivery with our 3rd party, also mobile order pickup. If you're in a rush, tight time for lunch, the food's not prepackaged, but it can be made before you get there. So when you arrive, it's ready for you to go and on your way. And again, we're rooted in the freshness and local partnerships. Our baked goods are crafted locally and they're delivered fresh to us every day. They're never frozen or factory made. By choosing this approach, not only do we serve Rialto a higher quality product, but we also fuel a network of small businesses. If 985 succeeds, every small business that we work with also succeeds. Keeping resources and opportunities circulating within our local economy. We do that in San Bernardino, and we do that in Rialto. We also work with high school internship programs for workforce experience. We take on high schoolers who want to learn how to get a job, they want to learn how to have an interview, and they want to learn how to work and make a living. We'll take them on, show them the ropes, and get them on their way to get a real job right after high school or when they're in college. And as soon as those hours are over, we can go ahead and hire them onto our team, which we've done 5 times now. We've been able to hire 5 of the employees that have gone through the workforce agency and now are a part of 985's team. And this is a good partnership for Rialto. We don't want to put the burden on the residents of Rialto to pay for our build out, nor do we want to put the burden on anybody else other than us. We're offering a 5-year lease with a 3-year renewal. $1,500 month base rent with the 3% annual increase. This is guaranteeing Rialto $90,000 to $100,000 over the course that we'll be there. So no matter if we make $1 or we don't, Rialto still benefits from 985. And with our capital investment of roughly 40 to 55,000, this is just an estimate because we trust in our local partners to get the job done in Rialto Depot. I've been inside the Rialto Depot before when it was a previous tenant, and I also toured when it was open to tour. And with the kitchen that Rialto has invested already in there, we will use that kitchen 100% to and for the residents of Rialto, to offer that fresh experience and to offer that local community and really activate the kitchen that is already there and use it to the best of our ability. So why 985? 985 Coffee offers the city of Rialto a guaranteed revenue stream, low operational risk, and a community-first approach that puts local impact at the center of everything we do. Our team is ready for immediate activation, backed by years of successful running cafes and building community spaces. We're not just applying for a lease, we're committing to a long-term partnership with the city and backed by a proven track record of growth and operational excellence in San Bernardino. As a locally owned business, our success is personal. We bring not only a business, but a sense of pride, accountability, and shared investment in the future of Rialto. '95 Coffee will bring culture, community, and commerce to the John Longville Depot. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'll open it up for any questions. Are there any members of the council that would like to ask any questions? Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott.
Thank you for your presentation. Just a couple questions.
Yes.
I'm assuming, based on your proposal, that you're still open to negotiating a lease?
Of course.
Terms that would fit the city of Rialto. Also, do you get reviews on Yelp by chance?
We do, actually. We have over 200 reviews and we have a 4.6 average.
So once in a while you get a negative review?
Of course.
Yeah, like all businesses do.
Of course.
So I just wanted to make sure you were unlike any other business out there. And you're open to having hours that are conducive with the trains that come through. In other words, there's probably the commuting public come back into Rialto, I would say between 4 and 7, maybe 8 o'clock in the evening. You're open to being open those hours, and then of course early in the morning when people leave out of here about 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yes, in San Bernardino currently we're open on the weekdays from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And in San Bernardino we're not near a train station. And currently we're looking to open an hour earlier in San Bernardino. So if we're able to do that with the staff that we have, our systems, 100% we'd be able to open from 5 a.m. to 7 to 8, 5 a.m. to 7, 8 p.m. In the evening to really get those first comers on the train and the last people to leave.
Okay, and how do you see your made fresh to order concept working with a train rider who probably a lot of the time is late getting to the train station, needs to get on exactly at a certain time, and you've probably got 40, 50 people that might want to have some food or something? How are you going to be able to accommodate them, make it fresh, and get them on the train and going down the track?
Yeah, so a few ways. The first way would be our online ordering platforms, Order Ahead. So that would be open all night. We can always, have billboards out, have signs out, and let our customers know through loyalty programs and through there that you can schedule your order. So by the time, if you want to show up at 7 a.m., your food will be ready, packed to go at 7 a.m. Not prepackaged, but it would be made and fired in our ordering systems so that when you show up, it is ready. Other than that, at 985, the great thing is that when all other companies are afraid of payroll costs and they're trying to keep their employees low, we're the opposite. We want to have as many employees trained and staffed, ready to go. We've created a bar flow system that can get out a drink or two before you're even done paying. And 5 to 10 minutes after that, your food will be ready to go. That's what we're experiencing right now in San Bernardino. We have lines out the door. We realize that can be an issue. It's a great thing to have a line out the door, but not if everybody's waiting in line and also waiting for their product. So we understand that if you wait in line, we want to make sure you're not waiting for your food. You're not waiting longer for your food. So that would be done with our staff.
And where's your current location in San Bernardino?
It's right on East Street on Orange Show, right next to the National Orange Show. Where there used to be a 99-cent store in that plaza that closed down.
Okay, and where do you believe your draw of customers comes from? Is it city government, county government?
100%. We have tons of city workers. A lot of people from police department, highway patrol, fire department. We get tons of. There's a lot of county workers that work with the youth and the youth programs. They have a bunch of offices around us. But the awesome thing about 985 is that we've amassed like 3 million views within the last month on our socials. We have over 15,000 followers on our Instagram. We're heavily present on social media. So the awesome thing about 985 in San Bernardino is that a lot of locals love us, but a lot of people come to San Bernardino from other cities, Loma Linda, Redlands, Rialto, Colton, Fontana, Rancho. They all drive in and through San Bernardino to get to us and do that on a weekly basis. So for Rialto, we wouldn't only be serving the customers of the train station, but would be inviting other people from other cities to come and see what's in Rialto.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other member? Andy Caraceres?
Thank you, Mayor. So, couple questions here. So, tell me about your healthy items. Tell me about that. That's one of my biggest focus is how do we provide something that is healthy for our community, whether it's the guy that's taking the train working in LA, or as you stated, you're part of the community. You're part of being embedded into this community, and you're probably going to have people from the surrounding areas go over there. What kind of healthy options do you have?
Yeah, so currently we love to joke around with our names that we have for our food. We have a heavy hitter bagel, which is for someone like me that's really fatty and probably not the healthiest thing that you might want to eat before you get on a train. So we have that for an alternative. And at the same time, we have a really good breakfast croissant that's very light, made with an egg with some arugula, some greens, all sourced freshly, fresh baked croissant. And it's all prepackaged. So we have a wide variety of things that we'd offer to people on the healthier side. In Rialto, we'd offer a range of salads, Cobb salad, chef salad, other salads that are made to order. You can customize your own salad. We're working on our in-house dressings at the moment to really keep those calories low, but at the same time give the option for the people who possibly don't want a low calorie and give an option, be a middle ground for everybody. So at the moment, we have like that breakfast croissant on the lighter side. We have an avocado toast that's made fresh with fresh avocado, not pre-batched per serving. And we try to keep it low on the calorie side. For lunch, we offer turkey sandwiches on sourdough. We offer, a more fattier one like a chicken pesto sandwich as well. So we have a few other options. In San Bernardino right now, we do have a limited kitchen, nothing like we have in Rialto. So for Rialto, the possibilities, they're endless when it comes to what we can offer and healthy alternatives or none.
Got you. And the same question and concern I have is with the common area. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. At 95 currently in San Bernardino, we have tons of trash in the front, tons of trash just from customers dining in. In San Bernardino, we serve actual silverware, actual plates, actual cups. So out of our, 4 or 5 that are on staff at the time, our floaters will always be talking to customers, cleaning up, asking if they can pick up any plates from anywhere they can, making sure the place is always presentable, always clean. We do that on a daily basis in San Bernardino. We do the same thing with our staff in Rialto.
Another concern that I didn't bring up to the other gentleman was the fact that, and Mr. Sullivan, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but that building stays open. What's the hours of when the actual building stays open because of the restroom and because of all the other common area items?
You're testing me on that one, but I think we unlock it at 3 or 4 in the morning, and then it locks back up after the last train. So the kitchen area historically is locked up sooner, and then we leave the public restrooms open. It's also, we do have security guards and a security system there.
So is there a door that would lock out just the restroom so that it would lock the kitchen area and then separate it from the restrooms?
Correct. It is separated, yes. We do have that capability. There is a screened fencing that comes across.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's good. And, all right. So let's see, any other questions here? No, I think that, and you said it's till 10 p.m.?
Don't quote me on that, but it's later in the evening, I think, with the last train. I think it's somewhere around 10 p.m.
Okay. So does that work with your schedule?
For sure, yeah. There is a white fence that covers off the exact 820 square feet that we'd be leasing. If we were to have a common area with tables and chairs, that could be something that we always work with the city to see if the people using the restrooms can also sit down and use the chairs. Meanwhile, our kitchen is locked up in the later hours of the night. So that's always something that we're open to talk about and figure out with the city to see how it's going to work best for our employees as well for the train.
Okay, so just so you know, this will be very fine. It would be brushed with the fine because there's just a lot of issues that we had with the last tenant, and I think that's what kind of drove them away.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that doesn't happen to our new tenant. Other than that, I don't have any other questions, Mayor. Thank you.
Are there any
Can I make a
questions?
comment on that one real quick? Or
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So currently, right now in San Bernardino, we're next to a charter school, and that charter school has from like 7th grade to high school, and a lot of kids don't really have money, or they don't really know what we serve, and we try to accommodate them the best we can. But the awesome thing is that we've already had an issue with our restroom and students wanting to use the restroom, and it was an issue at first that we were eventually able to resolve, and very easy. We were able to keep the kids inside the school, inside of the shop, so they won't be on the streets anywhere else, and they're able to use our restroom. They respect our restroom. It's our responsibility as a business to have that communication with our customers or non-customers to take care of our common spaces. So in Rialto, we'd be 100% willing to tackle on any issues regarding restroom or policies or anything that the city might require or that could work for us in the long run.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No further questions? If not, Councilmember Edward Montoya.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So I've been going to your San Bernardino location since you guys opened, pretty much.
Thank you.
Now, your San Bernardino location has built a really good size following. Do you think that a smaller and less frequented location would work for your business model, given the amount of traffic that you have eventually brought into your San Bernardino location? I physically witnessed that your line goes out the door. Would this smaller and less trafficked location work for you?
Yeah, again, we're in San Bernardino. There used to be a old Raspados place where we're at right now. In the past 3 years, we've had to build that line from the ground up. So there was no foot traffic. There was nobody walking casually on E Street where we're at getting organic traffic. There was none of that. So if we're talking about from then till now, the Rialto Depot is going to be an upgrade from where we're at now due to the size of the actual common area. The kitchen itself might be a little smaller, but I'm almost 100% sure it's almost the same size as our kitchen area in San Bernardino. If anything, it's a little bigger. So if we were able to get that line out the door in San Bernardino through our marketing, through our socials, and through the community that we've built, we have tons of regulars that currently reside in Rialto that beg us for a location in Rialto. So having that spot and revitalizing it and making it something where people walk in and they see that, wow, what is this? I want to be a part of this. That's what 95 brings.
Thank you. Now, your proposal states that you're deeply committed to the community that you serve and the social impact that you bring, such as feeding the homeless and giving over 15,000 toys last year to children and families. What's your plan of action for giving back to the city of Rialto?
Yeah, and that's so fun to hear and so fun to think about, because then that's going to be a second place where we can give out 15,000 plus or more toys this holiday season. It's going to be a second location for Feed the Homeless. So it won't be replacing anything in San Bernardino, nor San Bernardino will be taking anything from Rialto. This would be an extra step to get the people in Rialto to really do great toy drives for our community. Like, as I said, we've lived in Rialto before. We understand the need that people have, and we understand what it can do when you come together with the community to donate. And me and my family, we've been in the community and local churches all of our life. So even prior to 985, we've done it in every city. We've done it in Rialto, or Rialto High School before as well. So this depot would just be another base for us to open up shop and to be able to provide those toy drives, feed the homeless, and everything to the city of Rialto and surrounding where San Bernardino might not reach.
Right, thank you. One last comment. I really like the idea of a local who was raised here in the city of Rialto, created his own brand, made it successful, now willing to come back and share his brand with the city of Rialto, but also committed to engaging with the community that raised him. I think that's really awesome. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other member that wish to ask a question? If not, I have a couple of questions, Daniel. In reference to, one, I'll just start with the amount of employees. You indicated that you would have anywhere up to 12 employees, 10 employees that would actually be working here, right?
Yes.
And those employees could come from the city of Rialto, is that correct?
They will come from the city of Rialto,
Oh,
yes.
well, that's, and the other, every table said they would have one, and we don't know where they're coming from, if that person may apply from here or may not apply. There's a difference between that. And then a question that was asked earlier, and I'm just, want to make sure that we continue to think in the best interest of the city of Rialto and making the appropriate decision that is going to help the city grow and develop and present the kind of image in allowing the new business to come into the area. One of the areas that when we look at the investment in the city, the sales tax that is generated would stay here in the city of Rialto, is that correct?
Yes.
So it would not go to it would not go to San Bernardino, right?
No, it would not go to San Bernardino.
Okay, because the other one, we don't know if it'll stay here or go to the corporate office where they're located at. And so therefore, the city of Rialto would not be bringing in the revenue or the sales tax that we need in our area. And then when I looked at capital investments, the others wanted to have a 4-year amortized. What's the total amount when I looked at yours and you looked at your figures here that you said you would invest somewhere between $40,000 to $55,000? What would that equate in 4 years, approximately?
Yeah, so that would be our initial investment coming in year one. That would be for equipment. That would be for our, stoves. That would be for our ovens, our refrigerators, our espresso machines. Also for the common area, if we're able to get furniture, umbrellas, outdoor seating. That's what that would include. And then from there on out, year 2, year 3, if the depot is experiencing some type of maintenance or it's requiring some type of update due to our services or anything that the city is requiring, we're 100% open to keep the depot up to the standard and maintain it as well.
Right, and you would not be dependent on the sales. You would actually just begin to invest versus the other one depends on the sales that they would do, whether they would invest or not.
Yeah, the city of Rialto can count on our rent payment every month. That's what we do already. That's what we're prepared to do, and we feel like the city of Rialto deserves someone to work for them and also to provide something for the city of Rialto itself financially.
Right, and earlier I asked, I read the Google that came out on every table, and yours, and then one of my colleagues asked the question, do you get that kind of reviews or that review, and you indicated that you had a high percentage of positive, but the negative has been very low and very few, and you haven't had anybody complain about food poisoning, have you?
No, never.
Okay, thank you, because, we're all very much concerned with the food that we take in.
Of course.
And the other one had the complaints in terms of food poisoning, and then, your packet, you would not pre-package, it would be fresh and coming out, is that correct?
Yes, it'll be coming out fresh, made to order.
Yeah, and then in reference to, I know that you would provide healthy food because I personally went down there after the presentation on January the 25th. I went there on a Sunday, and my wife ordered, she's more of a healthy person than I am. She ordered the taco sandwich, not the taco sandwich, but the avocado sandwich to eat. And of course, I ordered a turkey sandwich. That's still somewhat healthy, But I ordered actually, that you guys actually provide more than just coffee. Is the tea that you had? I believe I had a mango or a tea or something like that.
Yeah, so we have a variety of green teas, black teas. We have
healthy
matcha
ones.
teas, chai teas, of course, yes.
Yeah, and that's what I did. I had that was healthy,
Hopefully you enjoy
But I also noticed, as our council member said here earlier, is that there is a line, and that's positive. When I saw that there was a line, and that means that people wanted to come and purchase. And I think, when we look at the decision that would be made, it would now be available because in the city of Rialto right now, currently, we don't have a place where we can go to, immediately for a lot of our employees that work here for the city or work for the fire department or work for our police department. We have to go outside of this area, and this would provide fast food for them to, well, not just fast food, but healthy food and food that they can obtain and get here, you know, real quickly and report back to duty. But appreciate that very much. And, you know, I guess I didn't know if I answered your question or you need to answer the question in reference to the comments that may be made on review.
Of course, yeah. So as every business does, we always have a 1-star every once in a while. I encourage you to go through our Yelp and our Google reviews. Very few, you'll see some that are possibly just, you know, it happens. We have a lot of employees. Again, we're all humans. Sometimes we make mistakes. The awesome thing, though, is that with our team, we love to not get mad about those 1-star reviews, nor use that to discourage us. We use that to empower us and to teach us what we did wrong in that moment, whether it be customer service, whether it be quality control of the drinks, whether it be timing of the drinks. Our success today in San Bernardino is based off of those bad reviews. Us grabbing that bad review, making it a learning experience for us.
Right, and then what you would then, you know, if someone was to come in off the train, you would provide fresh, hot coffee or juice
100%.
or a drink for them, because that's basically what they'd have an opportunity to get if they didn't pre-order it online, you know.
Yes, it wouldn't take long either, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions? If not, thank you very much,
Thank you so
Daniel.
much. God bless you guys.
I think we've heard quite a lot in terms of the decisions that we have to make. And once again, I just want to ask our city council members to really think about what is best for our city and what is it that would be in the best interest of the city now and in the future too, as well as we look at the Metrolink and the direction that we need to go in the future as well. And, you know, it's good that every table, you know, has applied. I'm just, you know, I still didn't get the answer, and I'm sort of like disappointed. You know, you come into our city and you apply for a license and then you leave, and it's sort of like leaves a, you know, like, hey, you really didn't want to be here in the first place, or you thought you can get a better deal now because this is property of the city versus leasing from someone else that would have been in the area. So with that, I'd like to see if do we have a motion on the floor? If not, I'd like to have a motion that we go with 985 coffee.
Second.
Okay.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Mayor Baca,
Aye.
Councilmember Matoya,
Aye.
Councilmember Perez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott,
Aye.
Councilmember Caracellis.
Aye.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to 985 Coffee. Next, we'll move on to the next item, which is item number 2.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and City Council. Tab 2 this evening will be presented by Megan Matson with Rialto Water Services.
Greetings, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Council, staff, and the residents of Rialto. My name is Megan Matson with Rialto Water Services. Tab 1 got me good and hungry, so I'll try to move quickly through my item. Before I do, I wanted to thank the Water Subcommittee for, again, diligent work on a complex project with us, and thank staff for detailed hard work on this, and also congratulate city staff on the successful procurement of the grants that are making this project possible at last. This is the final construction work authorization for the automated meter infrastructure on the water system. This is actually an upgrade and an evolution from straight automated meter reading to advanced metering infrastructure. And I don't know how to move this. Oh, sure. Sorry about that. So the city was successful in obtaining $2 million in federal funds for this project. and $6 million from state funds, making this project possible. The procurement identified in this latest round 2 qualifying respondents. A selection committee was formed that went through an exhaustive evaluation of those bids, and USG Water Solutions was selected. This is just a background on USG's qualifications. They have broad installation experience and had deep qualifications on their ability to roll this advanced metering infrastructure out in the city of Rialto. The project will be installing 7,200 advanced meters and retrofitting the balance to bring it to 12,200 meters with this technology. Some of the key benefits, before I move to cost, some of the key benefits are really the real-time intelligence that supports rapid response in customer service and identification through spikes of potential leaks and much more preventative real-time asset management around the city, including detections of potential pressure drops and the like. And when customers call in, the customer service team will be able to pull up much more detailed information on potential problems that are happening. The cost breakdown does fit within the $8 million in grant funding. The USG subcontractor cost, there's a smaller subcontract for the integration of the data with the existing billing system. And then the Veolia fee plus insurance of 12.2%, comparable to the biosolids project recently passed. And then you'll see here this Veolia recovery fee, which is tied to extensive pre-development work through 2017 forward until the successful attainment of the grant funds made it possible to move forward. On project benefits, there are efficiencies in terms of the real-time data collection as opposed to field visits, making these meter readings possible. And there is much greater accuracy in that, so that billing is not based on estimates but on real data. And again, the preventative ability to detect fluctuations in the performance of the system and remedy ideally before leaks become more critical. The council action in front of you tonight is approval of the FACWA amount, and the next steps are the finalization of last details on contract, which will be reviewed by city staff and RWS, and then the work would begin immediately, and the bulk of installation would occur spring and summer to then meet the grant funding deadlines of November and December.
Okay.
So
Thank you. Any questions from a member of the council? Andy Gonzalez, council member?
No comment.
Oh, okay. Council member, Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott.
Thank you. Just a couple questions. One, the 12.2% that's in here for Veolia's fee, was that agreed upon with staff?
we did review the buildup heading into FACWA, and yes.
And do you think that's an appropriate percentage?
I do. Ultimately, we went through a detailed buildup of the actual work involved. It's a sort of operationally intensive deployment with a lot of integration with the existing billing systems on that side, and then pretty intensive upgrading of what the water field team and the water asset management side will do, but largely it's the project management.
I don't think either one of those should have much to do with this project, and I just want to make a comment about this percentage amount, even though I'll vote to approve it tonight. Industry standards say that in a situation like this, where Veolia is actually the outside party, just basically supervising the installation of these meters, that they should be paid between 8 and 10%. That's an industry standard. In fact, I just had a meeting with the general manager of another water agency today and asked him that very question and got the same response I've gotten from others. So I think we need to work on that percentage and get it down over the next few projects. It just needs to come down, and we've had this discussion in our committee meetings, and it needs to come down. My last question to you, and I don't know if you can answer this, but I actually already know the answer, is once you install these meters, generally it will capture water going through the meter that the old meters don't capture. So in most cases, residents' water bills will go up some. May not be drastic, but they will go up some, and I think we should be very transparent with the community about this when they ask that question, because I know it's caused problems in other communities when they've gone to these meters, and they are way more accurate than what we currently have, and lost water will be recaptured. So that's a good thing for the agency, because we're not losing money on water, but there will be an impact to the community on this.
I agree with you. The existing meters have an average age of 20-plus years, and that accuracy does degrade.
Exactly.
And it's a common experience in the degree.
So I would ask that you make sure that Veolia is ready to explain that to its customers and be able to tell them why their bills have gone up. I know I've gotten some calls from folks that live in the West Valley area about this when they did theirs, and I've explained to them that they are going to go up incrementally, some more than others, but as meters get older, they are less effective, and these are state-of-the-art meters, so they're going to capture every drop of water that goes through them. So I just think it's important for us to be transparent. That's all the questions I have.
Meg, it's true that the majority of this is going to be paid by grants, is that correct?
Yes, the FACWA amount is less than the grant funding.
Right. And I think Mayor Pro Tem is correct in reference to the making sure that we look at the percentage. And then also what'll happen, even though the rates may go up a little, but water will be a lot cleaner by being able to detect this through the meters that will be keeping up with new technology or being able to create the kind of awareness to look at the quality of water that would go through there. Is that correct?
I've largely understood it to be detection of spikes, sort of anomalous spikes in usage that would indicate leaks immediately.
Or leaks, okay.
And then anomalies that would indicate pressure drops.
They don't detect water quality.
No.
No.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions? Hearing none, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion's been made by Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott, seconded by Andy Caraceres. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please.
Okay, Utility Authority Resolution 8417 and RUA Resolution 08-45.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to tab 3.
All right, good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of council. Tonight I will provide you with a presentation on, there we go, staff's request for approval of 2 purchase orders for design services for residential street rehabilitation. We've broke these areas down into 2 phases. This is phase 1. It's bordered by Baseline on the north. On the east side is Elmwood. The south is Etiwanda, and the west is Cedar. These are all residential streets. And also in this zone, even though I mentioned Elmwood was the east border, Elmwood is included in the project. Phase 2 is well on the north end is Baseline, east end is Cactus, south is Etiwanda. Both of these zones or phases are they share a border with Dollaheim Elementary School. So the city of Rialto is responsible for maintaining approximately 59 million square feet of roadways consisting of nearly 289 section miles. The arterial collector network, which totals 116 section miles, which consists of the larger streets like Riverside, Foothill, Baseline, and also a local network which consists of 161 section miles. That's primarily your residential streets. So what we see here in this image on the slide is the condition of each of those segments. Just like a school report card, we rank the conditions of our roads in a similar fashion. It's called a pavement condition index, or PCI. So the PCI rating, the PCI rating ranges from 100 to 0. 100 is a newly constructed street or a reconstructed street, and 0 is a street where a section is completely failed. Any condition below a PCI score of 40 is considered a failed pavement condition and could require a full reconstruction. So should any of the council members or members of the audience want to learn a little more about PCI or actually engage in this map that this image is taken from, you can do a quick search online for, just type in City of Rialto PCI, and you can click on each one of these streets and see the different scoring. This section, or this image right here, shows the 2 sections that we would like to address through the design. So the last iteration of the pavement maintenance program, the subject streets of this council item had a PCI score ranging of 45 to 68. This means that we can conduct less costly repairs on these roads to restore them to a score of 100. And just using an analogy of a car analogy, we maintain our engines or transmissions, we put oil in them, we service them. If we don't, it leads to costly repairs, engine failures, things like that. So we like to get ahead of these roads before they degrade down lower than a 40 to reconstruct them with a slurry or grind and cap. Very, very simple repairs compared to a full reconstruction. So this project is funded by SB1 revenues and does not impact the general fund. Both firms listed in tonight's council action, Michael Baker and Somas, would conduct the work under our existing on-call professional services agreement, and they are both in the audience tonight. So, and thank you very much. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Are there any questions from members of the council? Mayor Pro Tem Scott?
In the past, when we've designed the reconstruction of roadways, we've had stuff in the bids where we've allowed the contractor to either do the design or do something which is called better or equal. That hasn't worked very well for Rialto. Are we leaving that condition in?
No, we no longer use that condition. So we adhere to a pretty strict, we use Caltrans standards, Green Book standards, and we've been successful.
So the streets will be done per SOMA's design?
Correct.
Okay, with no ability of a contractor being able to swap up something because he can do it cheaper?
No, we call for a specific material and they must use that material.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. I would move approval.
Motion's been
comment.
made by Ed Scott, Mayor Pro Tem
Second.
Ed Scott, seconded by Andy Caraceres.
No, I have a comment.
Oh, you have a comment, okay. Well, there's been a motion on the floor, and we'll let you make the comment too as well.
Thank you.
Go ahead. And then,
So, one of the things that, I don't know if we've done it in the past, but to do a cap seal on all of our new projects, when should we start looking at implementing this and having it be part of our budget?
So, right, yeah, and that's one of the things that we've rolled out here, looking at, that I've noticed we don't have, is a reoccurring pavement maintenance plan. This is the initial step. So we want to get to a road usually within 7 to 10 years, you know, varying on, and it varies on what we're going to do with that. But we used to have a pretty extensive slurry program here, and it worked to some degree on certain roads. So that is also part of our driving force to start bringing this plan in. Are there inexpensive alternatives to actually going in there and grinding the road up, disturbing the residents, and so forth?
Also, what about a seal coat?
We can do seal coats, fog coats, those are also options as well.
Just to try to extend the life of it is what I'm talking about.
Yes, it does extend the life of it. It puts a somewhat of a protective layer, as well as, you know, everything is oil-based, right? Hydrocarbon on these roads, and you want to preserve that and keep that in the road. So that is something we wanted to start here in this area because we do receive a lot of complaints, and it's not to a condition yet that we have to do a full reconstruction. So this is exactly what you're talking about in certain sections of the road, because I said they're based on different PCI scores, you know, from 45 to 68. There's a possibility that when Somas or Michael Baker go in there, that they might find that some of these alternative methods are, you know, something that we can use. So it depends on the condition of the road itself. Just like when we see a doctor and we have an ailment, what are the different treatments?
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
motion has been made by Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott, seconded by Councilmember Carla Perez. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. We'll move on to item number 4.
All right, that's mine as well. So this item introduces for the first reading an ordinance updating our purchase thresholds for public works contracts to align with changes in state law. This year, the California Uniform Public Construction Cost Accounting Act increased its bidding thresholds. So the current language in our municipal code section states that these increases will automatically be adjusted whenever the state changes them. However, this action would memorialize these changes and for complete transparency. So the new thresholds pertain to how public works projects are bid or advertised. For instance, projects under $75,000 are done through forced accounting, negotiated contract, or purchase orders. Projects under $220,000 are procured through informal bidding procedures, and projects over $220,000 follow a formal bidding procedure. So these increases reflect rising costs of materials and services while maintaining appropriate oversight and transparency. One thing that I want to note is this ordinance is not changing other portions of the code, nor is it changing council's authority or staff's authority for these dollar thresholds. It's only how we advertise or bid or solicit the bids. So with that, concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Are there any questions by any member of the council? Hearing none, do I hear a motion? Because this is first reading. Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott.
Move approval.
Motion's been made by Mayor Pro
Second.
Tem Ed Scott, seconded by Councilmember Edward Montoya. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Yes, I need to-
You want the
Read the
ordinance read?
Yes, I need to
Okay.
read,
Thank you.
before I do the roll call, I need the motion of Mayor Pro Tem Scott to read the ordinance into the record for me, please.
Okay, it's
1705.
first reading of ordinance 1705. It's an ordinance of the City Council, the City of Rialto, California, amending section 2.48.200 to reflect updated bidding thresholds for procurement of public works contracts consistent with the California Uniform Public Construction Cost Accounting Act.
Mayor Pro Tem.
And the amendment of Municipal Code, Chapter 2.48, Purchasing Section 2.48-.200. Okay,
It's in the front page.
Okay, thank you.
now you want my vote?
Yes.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Gotta do a roll call.
A roll call? Okay.
Yes. Councilmember Montoya.
Aye.
Councilmember Perez.
Aye.
Councilmember Carriceros.
Aye.
Mayor Baca.
Aye.
Thank
Motion carries. We'll move on to tab 5.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and honorable members of the City Council. Tonight, staff respectfully request your approval of a 3-year agreement with one-year extension for weed abatement services between the City of Rialto and Integrity Arborist and Ecoscape Incorporated, effective beginning fiscal year 2025-26 in the amount not to exceed $225,000. On April 1st, 2025, the city issued bid number 25-028, soliciting proposals for weed abatement services. Of the 175 vendors notified, 4 vendors submitted proposals that meet the city's criteria and standards for performing this work. After a thorough evaluation, Integrity Arborist and Ecoscape Incorporated emerged as the most responsive and qualified bidder. Funding for this contract is allocated through the Fire Department's General Fund budget beginning in fiscal year 25-26, and the cost of weed abatement services along with an administrative fee will be recovered from property owners via liens placed on their respective property tax bills if these services are used to abate weeds on private properties. Staff is recommending that the City Council approve the services agreement with Integrity Arborist and Ecoscape Incorporated for weed abatement services. And additionally, Jeremy Prado from that company is present here tonight in the audience if you have any questions. Thank you.
Councilmember Andy Carriceros, I saw your light go up first. Okay, Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott.
Chief, what is our current situation on weed abatement? Are we caught up with weed abatement in the city?
Yes, this is why it took us a little bit to get this bid back to the council, was we were finishing up with the previous contractor and working through some of the properties that we were abating with Fish and Wildlife that are protected properties.
Oh, okay, and are those currently all caught up?
We are caught up, and we're heading into the fall season now.
So they'll be starting anew?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, do I hear a motion to?
Move
So
approval?
moved. Second.
Motion's been made by Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott, seconded by Edward Montoya. Okay,
Who?
Carla Perez.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion?
Any opposed? Yeah.
Any opposition? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. That concludes the items on the agenda. We'll now move into reports. We'll start with city council members. We'll start with Carla Perez.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to share that last weekend, not this Saturday, but the one prior, we attended the MAD, Walk with MAD, and it was a great event, very touching. It was very well attended. So just want to say thank you to everyone that put it together, city clerk and, you know, police and fire, of course, were present and participated, as well as our city staff. It's always a great event to attend. Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott is, you know, one of the participants. He's always present, and we're always there to support him. So thank you to all who were present. And then I also I'm sorry, I also wanted to take a moment to wish my firstborn a happy birthday. She celebrates her birthday tomorrow. We'll be celebrating.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to Council Member Edward Montoya.
Yeah, thank you. I was super busy this past couple of weeks, but I'm only gonna narrow it down on a couple of events. First one, I want to say thank you to Assemblymember Ramos. I attended his press conference for military veteran retirees. He submitted a bill recently that will exempt military retirees from paying California state tax. And I got to attend this event, and I just wanted to say thank you. Much appreciated from us service members. I did also attend the Mad Walk. I also attended the Rialto High School JROTC competition, where Rialto High School hosted 70 other teams with their JROTC events. What else? The 2025 San Bernardino County Veterans Stand Down at Rialto City Park. We had over 50 vendors. We served over 600 veterans and homeless. We had 2 judges in the park proceeding over 2 different courts, Shelter Court and Veterans Treatment Court. And I want to send a special thank you to Rialto High School JROTC for conducting the flag ceremony, helping with setup, tear down. They were just awesome. Rialto High School really helped us out that day. So thank you guys so much. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to call on Andy Caraceres.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So, nothing to really report other than I want to really commend our community development services for the kind of the big turnaround on the just the whole atmosphere there and the level of community engagement that they have, and also the level of service and direction that they have there. I was in there and I was kind of incognito, not trying to, but I was just wearing a hat, and I just walk in there, and the gentleman Nicholas and the other counter person there, Jason, they were helping a lady that was speaking in Spanish only. So both of them were literally going through every step of the way and every detail that she needed for an ADU. And well, I guess the one of the gentlemen knew who I was, but the guy that was actually helping, which was Nicholas, and the one that was really doing all the heavy lifting there, going just beyond what good customer service is, he didn't know who I was. And it's just, I'm very grateful for that department and the level of commitment that we have, not just to, English-speaking people, but the fact that we had someone there that was bilingual, and this lady was like a perfect example of what I want to make sure that we are helping our community with, because the reality is there's a lot of people that are in that same situation where they're trying to build an ADU because, quite frankly, the housing is just so expensive. That's really the only alternative right now. So I'm really glad that department has done such a good job with that. And I just want to personally thank their leader, and please pass over my thanks and gratitude for the wonderful customer service that they were giving. And of course I met them after, and they were happy that they were doing their job correctly and going just over and beyond. But that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott.
Thank you. Since our last council meeting, we attended ICSC in Palm Springs. The mayor, myself, city manager Williams, and Christina Taylor, our economic development director. And if we haven't congratulated you on your permanent position over there, congratulations. But I especially want to thank Daniel Casey, Daniel Rojas, and Paul Guerrero. Those are the people that really do the hard work, the lifting and putting everything together for us, for their hard work and everything that they've done. So give them our thanks for that. We did attend the Mad Walk last week. I want to thank Barbara McGee, who's really the brains of the operation, and her staff, and Public Works for all their assistance, Rialto Police Department, Rialto Fire Department, our department heads who all walked on Team Eddie this year, and of course my fellow council members and the mayor for participating and walking on Team Eddie. This year we raised $37,459.65. I'm not sure how we got the 65 cents, but we did. Which brings us well over $350,000 for the last 9 years that we've been putting this walk on. So it's a great walk. It's for a good reason. It's to not only deal with victims of people who are impaired driving, that whether it be alcohol or drugs, but it's also to support law enforcement. The district attorney, Jason Anderson, was also there. I want to thank him. But it's also to support law enforcement for all they do. Impaired driving is up drastically in the state of California, and probably across the nation, but especially California and Rialto. I believe the night before the walk, we had 8 DUI arrests that night, which is a large amount of arrests for DUIs. So I really appreciate the job that our police department is doing in keeping people off the road and in preventing car crashes that kill family members. So again, thank everybody for all their help in that. It was a good time, nice weather, and we did very well money-wise. I think this is our second highest year. I believe one year we did $40-some thousand. So this year was great. Next year we'll celebrate our 10th anniversary, and we're going to shoot for 50 grand. How's that? 50 and 100.
Between 50 and 100,000.
Well, we'll have to get in the trunk of your car then.
Well, as you being chair for this MAD for the last 10 years, I just think it's no more than an honor to.
You're the real chair, Barbara.
Mayor Pro Tem, the chair for the MAD for the Southern California area. Rialto hosts it, and so I'm honored to host this with you. So next year, yes, we're going to shoot for
Barbara, would you
50,
like to give a report, please?
50 and a plus. Of course. Of course. Thank you for the time, Mayor.
Thank you for your kind words.
I just want to just.
It's a good team.
Thank you. Thank you. That is my report.
Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to give a brief report. First of all, I participated along with some of the other members on Move with MAD. It was an excellent turnout. I want to commend all of the vendors that participated. I want to commend, the chair, Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott, and then Barbara McGee for her leadership in reference to the Move with MAD. And it was nice to see a lot of individuals from within our community come together and a lot of the vendors that have participated. But I'd also like to thank personally the fire department and the police department for their continued involvement in our community. It shows, that we care about public safety and we care about what's going on in the community. So my hat goes out to both the fire department and the police department in reference to being there. Also, I'd like to report that I also attended the League of Cities conference that was held in Long Beach with some of our calling members and some of our staff that was there. And I also attended the ICSC conference. And then, by the way, back to MAD, since Mayor Pro Tem was mentioning the DA, I'd like to mention the fact that the San Bernardino County Supervisor, Joe Baca Jr., was also present at that event, too.
And also the Carter High School cheerleaders. Let's not forget them.
And the ROTC and the Pride Parade, the Pride guys from the Marines were there too as well.
Sly was there too.
Yeah, the flag was there, okay. Also, I'd like to mention that San Bernardino County Veterans Stand Down and Shelter Court that was held at Rialto Park. I'm glad that it came to the city of Rialto. It's normally being held in one city. It was always held in San Bernardino, so it came to our area. We had quite a few vendors that participated on that particular day. My colleague mentioned that he was present and was involved and instrumental in trying to get them to come here to the city of Rialto, so that was nice. Last but not least, as I mentioned earlier in my presentation, the Hispanic Coalition of Small Businesses Latina Awards was given out, and I mentioned who got the award, Latísima Awards that were given out. And with that, that concludes my report, so we'll move on. We've already covered the city clerk that said that she's made her report, so next I'd like to call on Edward Carrillo, our city treasurer.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing to report.
Next, I'd like to call on our city manager, Tanya Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. No report this evening.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to call on our city attorney, Eric Bale.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to mention that on October 3rd, the governor signed Senate Bill 707, which is going to have an impact on the way we operate council meetings going forward in 2026. The bill was passed to encourage more access to the public and to council members to participate via social media or telephone. We'll work with the city clerk's office and the city manager's office. There's some work that we have to do to be ready for that, but that's coming.
Well, hopefully we get good orientation and training in terms of how we develop it and how we implement it with our city too as well. Thank you. Next, I'd like to call on our police chief, Mark Lane. And by the way, Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott gave him so many kudos at the MAD. I couldn't believe how much kudos he was giving him. But I'm not going to go into all those.
I can do it again.
Well, Mayor, thank you for the recognition again. I appreciate that. Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor Pro Tem.
I'm just glad they didn't show that video of you calling me grandpa.
I do want to thank the Carter High School cheerleaders for recognizing who you were that day, sir, at every single stop. So anyway, speaking of the MAD run or the walk, I do want to let council know that the Pride Platoon kids were there, the young youth of our community. Yeah. 38, I believe, give or take one or two. But I would tell you that what they got out of that event is going to be priceless for them moving forward. So, you know, every single week there's some type of community involvement that we try to get them involved in. So anyway, thank you for your support with that. I do also just want to let council know that last month we handled 6,777 calls for service, 4,068 additional for our officers' observations. We made 389 arrests, and we handled 1,180 reports. And then I know that Captain Adams, when I was out, let council know this, but we're also expanding our record hours, which I think is really important to the community. As we start moving forward to the new building, council should know that we are now open 5 days. There's actually 6 days a week. It's just more convenient to the community, and then eventually we'll be open 7 days a week. So that's my report, so thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to call on our acting fire chief, Jensen.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to thank the council for your continued support in fire and emergency services as we continue to look forward at opportunities to provide efficient and effective services to the community of Rialto. It's been one of those events that we look forward to, and we participate in the community, but we do that through and with your support. We were honored to participate in the Mad Walk and the Veterans Stand Down, so we appreciate that. And lastly, I just wanted to say on Sunday, I attended the Girls Empowerment Camp. This is where youth come and learn about the fire service and what it takes to become a firefighter. And I wanted to give a shout out to Captain Teresa Rivera for her hard work and compassion and mentoring at that event. So I appreciate that. Thank you, council.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to call on our Assistant City Manager and still Director of Maintenance and Facilities, Tim Sullivan.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to let the community know that on October 25th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. is our quarterly cleanup. So we'll have free compost giveaway, kind of the same stuff we saw in the presentation earlier. Electronic waste drop-off, free trash disposal, used tire drop-off, and at the same time, our household hazardous waste facility will be open. And this also includes Shred Fest, where you can come and bring your papers, private documents, and have those shredded. So the key thing there is it's open to Rialto residents only, so please bring your proof of residency. And then with the wet weather that we experienced today and moving into this season, I wanted to also let the community know that sandbags are available if they do need them. We ask residents to only take 10. And they're located at 3 different sites here and within the city. Fire Station 203, Fire Station 204, and also the corporate yard near the household hazardous waste site. So, thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to call on Director of Community Development, Christina Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing to report this evening.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to call on our Parks and Recreation Director, Cynthia Alvarado Crawford.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the council. Here's what's going on in Rialto. Socktober is going on all month long. We will be collecting socks, beanies, and blankets for our at-risk youth. There are donation boxes that are placed throughout various city facilities. Feeding America Senior Mobile Pantry food distribution will be Wednesday, October 15th at Grace Vargas Senior Center from 9 to 11 a.m. The Department of Aging and Adult Services bus pass distribution will also be Wednesday, October 18th at the Grace Vargas Senior Center from 10 to 11 a.m. Our Tiny Tots Trunk or Treat will be hosted at the Rialto Community Center. It is for our October registered students in that program and their family. It'll be on the 17th at the Community Center at 4 p.m. Floating Pumpkin Patch will be this Saturday, October 18th at Tom Sawyer Pool from 2 to 6 p.m. Little Tots Variety Sports Session will begin Saturday, October 18th at the Rialto Community Center. There will be 2 sessions. There's an 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. session. Senior Center Halloween Spirit Week will start Monday, October 27th at the Grace Vargas Senior Center. Teen Center Halloween Hangout will be Wednesday, October 29th at the Teen Center. They'll be having free Halloween games and pumpkin carving. Our Halloween Nightmare Senior Dance will be Thursday, October 30th at the Grace Vargas Senior Center from 3 to 6 p.m. Halloween Hijinks will be here at the Civic Center Friday, October 31st from 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. And then November swim lesson registrations will open November 1st at 8 a.m. They'll be available online or in person. And those are my announcements.
Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to call on our Finance Director, Scott Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. No report.
Next, I'd like to call on our Human Resource Director, Shaima Kirison.
Nothing to report, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. And I don't believe we have yet a Director of Utilities, but we did interview, right?
Close. We're very close.
Okay. With that, that concludes the departments that I know that we have right now. With that, then, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion's been made by Councilmember Carla Perez, seconded by Councilmember Edward Montoya. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none. We're adjourned.
Was that the final score you showed me, or was it?
5-1.